infrastructure, use big data, perform different kind of analytics, and then take decisions accordingly. Now, this is good, but why can't we do it now? Now, whenever a change is done, so let's say a vulnerability is published, there is a patch management team, there is a vulnerability management team, there is a network team, firewall team. But a vulnerability is always a patch management team or vulnerability management team's responsibility. So what happens? A decision is made, patch all these servers, these are critical, 20 man days. So you have already made the decision, the patch management team is going to do the deployment. So we come in and say that I provide you with a variable is an option, which is, instead of doing that, there is this IPS signature, which you enable, you're protected immediately. So most of the time, what happens is, the decision maker calls the patch management team back, says that, enable the signature, reduce the severity, and go ahead with it. Now, the third option is a more complex option, which is, you enable this IPS signature, you reroute your entire traffic through this IPS. Now, the decision maker has to engage multiple teams, the patch management team, the network team, the firewall team. So, goes ahead with the initial thing, which is patching. Now, it's not that the decision maker does not care about the infrastructure, it's because it's complex. No, it is like he cares about the infrastructure, it is too complex, doesn't know what to do, so allows the default option to be taken, which is patch the service. So this is where the company which I work for, Skybox, comes in, which is, we collect and rebuild your entire infrastructure. Rebuild in a platform which is called the analytics platform. So, adding in more information about your infrastructure, where your firewalls are, where your network devices are, where your IPS is, whether it is configured, whether the signatures are enabled, if it's enabled, whether it's in prevent mode or detect mode, and where your critical assets are. Now, once you have this information, this is your model, the model of your infrastructure. We add multiple variables. The variables being the different vulnerabilities which are being published, and the different changes which you are doing in your infrastructure, and the different threats which could exist. Now, this is where we try to predict cyber attack behavior, which is an attacker with low skills and user privilege, what damage can he do? The attacker with high skills with root privilege, what damage can he do? His location being in your infrastructure, his location being in the internet. So these kind of simulation which can be performed on your infrastructure without actually creating any kind of damage, which is all this. Now, this might sound like something which is new and we might be pitching it. Now, this is something which has been already used by multiple customers, notably Wipro and Cognizant and SBI being one of the users. So, bringing full circle, like you see, there is two components which we do, vulnerability threat management and security policy management. Now, like I said, the ultimate aim is risk analytics and helping you take the right decisions at the right time. But since we already collect information such as your configurations, we also do the compliance checks, the workflows, everything. So instead of actually investing on multiple solutions, you have one platform which can take care of your entire decision making process. So what we do is, like I mentioned, the security policy management side of it collects your configuration, models your entire network, and performs compliance checks, different kind of analysis, and then reports accordingly. So all of this can be automated. And when you include the change management side of it, any changes which you want to do, it immediately goes through. It immediately goes through the entire workflow and then provides you a recommendation of whether you should go with the change or not, or is there a workaround. Same thing can be said about the vulnerability and threat management. We have two kind of workflows, which is vulnerability, which has been published, what you need to do, whether it's relevant to your infrastructure or not, and how you take care of them. Vulnerabilities, which have been discovered in your infrastructure, what you need to do, and how you need to take care of it. And we also have a measuring way in terms of it. You cannot manage what you cannot measure. You measure every single step on it. So you take a decision of disabling a firewall rule, and this needs to happen in 3 days. So every single time it is tracked and it checks for the firewall rule, whether it's disabled or not, and when it's disabled, that is when it provides you a notification and tries to close the loop. So in summary, what we are aiming towards is create a secure world by looking into more on a holistic kind of infrastructure, understanding your infrastructure, ensuring that you move towards a known, unknown kind of a methodology where you know completely about your infrastructure, every decision which is taken, and utilizing your existing security investment accordingly, performing predictive analytics and doing a remediation workflow, and when it comes to scalability, ensuring that your entire infrastructure can be taken into this. So this is more towards the software and the technology side, which I wanted to talk about today.